Some kids, you would be surprised, just a pat on the back would be enough. Well, some kids, you know, chocolate works for just about everybody, last time I checked. Token economy systems are also good ideas. And pick other people's brains. You know what? I'm a person that I've always said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's all out there. Now we got the internet. All you got to do is Google it. We can go and figure stuff out. And talking to people, hey, I got this problem. That's what this is about, okay? That's why you come to your professional development, is to get some ideas to put in your bag of tricks so that you can solve all the problems that you have. So here, let's recap. Planning certainly can help when you have problems. Look at your lesson. And then if you still have a problem, isolate the problem. Determine who's got it. Sometimes it's the student, and we've already talked about that. Sometimes, and I put that in little, you know, it couldn't possibly be us, but hey, maybe. Look at your own behavior. Sometimes when we deal with children, we provoke them. And here's another true story. As a new teacher, I had just had children, and we had a night where we didn't sleep. So, you know, here I am struggling to work, drinking too much coffee, and I was edgy. And I had a kid in my first period class that I could manage on a good day, but on a bad day, it wasn't going to happen. And he did what he normally does that I usually can handle, and we went off on each other, and I wrote him up, out the classroom. Second period, third period, well, by lunchtime, I started having a conscience, and I knew that that was completely about me. So I went to the principal, and I said, look, you know, I want that write-up. And he looked at me like I was crazy, because this kid, you know, he had some issues. And I said, no, I want to tear it up. And then I went and pulled the kid out of class. You would not believe his face when I said, look, I want to apologize for this morning. That was about me. And I tore up your referral. I mean, you thought I was speaking Greek to him. He didn't get that. But I did that. And sometimes what's happening when we get into a conflict with a student, sometimes it's about us. We're people. We have lives, right? And we come to school with our stuff. And this job is really interesting because we have to pretend that we don't have a life, because we got to interact with all these other people. But sometimes we drop the ball. That's okay. Now, if we drop it consistently, that's not okay. But, you know, we need to realize that sometimes it is about us. Sometimes we take personally the child's behavior. Students don't think we're from Earth. Of course, we don't think they're from Earth either, right? I remember being a high school teacher saying, what do y'all think? Do y'all think we all get in our spaceship at 2:15 and go off to teach a solar system? And they all went, uh-huh. And I went, well, we think the same thing about y'all. We're all people. They're not from Planet X. I had teachers come in the guidance office and just were convinced that I had strategically picked the 5 worst kids in the school to stick in their class. It's like, really? That's awesome. You think I have enough time to do that? You know, really. That's not how it happens. But sometimes we take personal what kids do. It's not about them. It's not about them. And sometimes we allow disruptive behavior to make us angry. And we're going to talk about anger in a minute. Okay, anger management is a problem. We could all learn to manage our anger. But think about all the shows on TV that dramatize anger. What's that Springer show, right? Let's all get mad, and or songs, you know, she caught him cheating and she keyed his car, right? He did you a favor, you know, and you're going to go, really, just leave him alone. But we dramatize anger and we reinforce it. And why do we do that? Because anger appears to work. When you were little and you got into trouble, what did your mom and daddy do? They got mad at you and they screamed. Same thing we do with our children, right? So you get the message as a young child. If I get angry, people will do what I say. All right? Also, it's overlearned. You wouldn't believe the students that I talked to in the guidance office. I said, you know, Ms. Funky, I don't even remember what happened. You know why? Because it's overlearned. When was the last time you stopped and figured out how to tie your shoes? You don't have to think it through. You just tie. For some people, an anger reaction is that reflexive. Something happens, they react. Anger also helps us to hold on to the past. A lot of the students I had to counsel for fighting because they were coming back from suspension, I kid you not, 5 out of 7 of them had a parent who had died. I'm not making this up. So they stayed angry because they couldn't let that go, that hurt, that pain. And we do that sometimes when our people that you know that walk around perpetually angry. And boys, poor thing, men can't be sad, right? What can they be? They can be angry, but they can't be sad. Because if they cry, what do they get? Oh, come on, suck it up. Be a man. Don't have any emotion. But if they got angry, that's okay. Let's throw them on the football field, right? And that's this one right here. Anger is acceptable. Sadness is not. So what gets you angry? Well, we could say all of these things. Who gets us angry? Or how do we become angry? What causes our anger? We do. Anger is a reaction, and we choose it. We could choose not to. It's hard, but we can choose not to become angry, and students can too, all right? But we have to role model for them that choice. We expect our students not to react when we correct them, and yet we overreact when they break rules. What kind of behavior do we model? I knew of a teacher in junior high school who never raised a voice. Never. Never. Always very calm. Never sent a kid to the office. What are some things that cause teachers? Now this piece is for you, and think about it. You know, everybody's got to like me, right? We all want that, but is that realistic? Students who do bad things are bad people. Every lesson must go the way I planned it. Huh? All students must be respectful and cooperative at all times. Is that real? Every student must have good parents. You should be able to pick up that phone, right, and get that behavior changed. Is that reality? I must be the perfect teacher and I have to know anything. They can't stump me. They can't ask me something I don't know. I must never let anybody... I remember teachers telling me that they never told students their first name. Really? Like you don't have one? You think they think that? How about this one? I must pray every morning that student is absent every day. Okay? And I only deserve good students. This is public education, folks. We don't get to choose who comes in the door. We don't. We have to manage and find a way to deal with whoever comes in. And here's this one. Sitting in the guidance office, here comes the student. The teacher had just written them up. I can't help it. She makes me so angry. So we did the little deal. We sent him on his way. Here comes the teacher. That kid makes me so angry. Really? We have to take back control and understand that the student doesn't make you angry, all right? We cause ourselves. We have zero control of how students behave, with or without a behavior plan. Wouldn't it be a better use of our time and energy to change how we react? Think about it. And here's some reframing with our irrational beliefs. All my students must like me. How about I would prefer if they like me, but if they don't, oh well. You know, being a parent is not a popularity contest. Sometimes being a faculty member isn't being popular, especially when students make bad choices. Students who do bad things are bad, How about they make poor choices? The behavior is bad. The person is good. Every lesson must go the way I planned. This is a good one. I have a lesson plan, but I have to be flexible. How about I would prefer students are respectful, but poor choices are equal consequences. We have to deal them out emotionally. Every student have good parents. Sometimes they don't, okay? And we have to understand and accept that. And sometimes we punish kids double. They come from poor home environments, and yet we punish them even more when they come to the school setting because we expect them to be something that they're not, or they don't have any role models to show. How about this one? Sometimes I need to ask and go and look something up. You know, letting your students know that you don't know everything makes you more real than what you think. I don't know that, but I'm going to go and find it out. How about this? Our parents die, our children get sick, our marriages fail. You know, we have to come to school with a proper attitude, but sometimes we have to check life at the door and understand that we can't take it out on our students. All right, how about this one? Instead of praying that Junior doesn't come to school, that student sure is a challenge, but I wonder what I can try next to change his behavior. And I would prefer the students behave, but you know, if they don't, then maybe I need to sit and come up with a behavior plan, a classroom plan, an individual plan, all of those things. Now, as soon as you get the perfect fit, it's going to change, and you'll get a whole new crop of kids. But certainly, what I hope you got something from today's session that could help you. You can take back with you. I know it's the end of the year. And you're like, oh man, I wish I'd have seen that at the beginning of the year. But the good news is you're going to start fresh in a few months and get a whole new crop of students.